Hi, I'm Channa Haspel, and in this video I'm going to deconstruct the rhythm and harmony from Steely Dan's classic, Peg. Now this track is a really good example of how you can create a really catchy pop song, yet retain all musical integrity. It has all the important elements that I like to hear in a good song. It has a great feel, groove, clever interaction between all the instruments, sophisticated harmony, wonderful, luxurious sounding backing vocals, and catchy melodies and hooks. In this video, I'm going to break down the individual instrument parts, and we're going to focus in on them and find out what's happening, why it works, why it sounds good. So I'll start by isolating certain instruments and then layering instruments one by one, so we can hear how the track is constructed, how it's built, how the rhythmic interaction works. So let's start by looking at the drum track. Now, if you look at the notation, you can see that there are two semiquavers on the and of each beat. So you have ta-ta, 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 ta-ta. Now, when you listen to the recording, it almost sounds like it's ta. It's just the quaver on the and of each beat. But on closer inspection, you'll notice that there are two semiquavers. This subtlety is due to a specific technique that the drummer Rick Morata uses on that track.
I had just opened my hi-hat a hair every couple of beats with what I was playing with my right hand on the hi-hat, and it created this little sound.
So just by keeping those hi-hats very close together, the notes become ghosted almost, but it just gives the drum track a specific groove, a special characteristic.
You go in there and you're just really good friends, and you'll play and you'll try to get into it, and they'll say, yeah, that's really good. And then the next day somebody else is doing it, a whole other band. It wasn't like they played musical chairs with the guys in the band. They played musical bands. A whole band would go and a whole incredible other band would come in.
I guess if you were the session musician, you'd go in and you'd do your session, you'd say thank you, goodbye, and then you'd wait, or maybe not, and one day, by surprise, you'd find the song that you played on actually got released on the album. In fact, this happened with Jay Graydon, the guitarist, who played that classic solo.
When it was all done and I walked out of the door, it's like these guys said, yeah, thanks, man. I mean, they weren't jumping up and down going, this is the keeper, man, this is the one. I'm going, well, who knows? I mean, am I on or off? But in any case, there was my solo when the record came out. I didn't know it till it came out.
You didn't know it till you came out?
No,
you heard it. Wow.
I heard it on the radio.
Now let's take a look at the bass track. The bass part on this track was played by Chuck Rainey. Now, Rainey was a serious session musician. I mean, if you look at his credentials, it's an extensive list. The bass line has that R&B feel to it. You can hear the bass line is quite definitive. You know, there's a definite bass line there, but he improvises in between the cracks, you know. There's not much room to improvise, but the way he does it is so effective. It's very subtle. It may be a mute here or there. It may be the placement of a different note on a different part of the beat. I really like that story that Rainey tells in the Classic Albums video, specifically about the chorus section to Peg, where Rainey's slapping the bass, and apparently Becker and Fagan were not too keen on having slap bass because slap bass was the big thing at the time.
Peg, that bridge there just seemed to be a slapping thing for me. They said, well, no, play with your fingers. I remember putting up a partition, and they were about that high. Of course, sitting in a much lower chair. And I remember, slapping. They never knew it went down. They never knew it, except afterwards you can tell there was a difference in that bridge.
Now let's take a look at the harmony. This is provided by both the Fender Rhodes and the Clavinet. Don Grolnick plays the Clavinet and Paul Griffin plays the Fender Rhodes, and they're playing similar parts. The chords are C major 7 to G major 9. Then changes to F major 7 and C major 9. Then back to C major 7, G major 9, and then G major 7 to D major 9, F major 7 to C major 9. In the recording, the exact notes are C, B natural, E, and G. And it goes to a D sus4 over B. So here's your D sus over the B note. It then changes to the 4, the F major 7 to the C major 9. And the voicing for that in the recording is F, A, E. So the major 7th is on top, really high up in the high register there, in relation to the F here. And then it goes to the G sus4 over E, which is the same voicing as that. And then back to the, and then when it goes to the 5, when the chorus comes in, it retains the main rhythmic figure of the verse. A minor 11, A sus over E, A sus 2 over E. Now, interestingly, I found a little bit of a conflict here. When I was listening to the recording and trying to pick out the notes in the keyboards there, in the original recording, they were slightly different to the one that Donald Fagen shows in that video he did back in '93. It's called Concepts for Jazz and Rock Piano, something like that. And he breaks down some of his songwriting techniques, and he actually goes through the chords for Peg. And but I noticed that there was a bit of disparity in a couple of the chords that he showed in the video compared to the ones that I heard in the original recording. For example, this section here, just at the beginning of the chorus, instead of going to the A sus 2 over E, which you can hear in the original recording, he plays A minor 11 to G sus 2 over E.
The chorus is related to the verse, and then in fact it starts out the very same way. But then we move into the minor area, the relative minor, which is E minor, G being the E major, and so the second two chords you have together we have.
The other difference between the recording and what Fagen shows in the video is, now these chords are from the original recording. And what you have here is a D sus 2 chord over C sharp. And there's a passing tone to the A minor 7 over C. However, in the video with Fagen,
To a fourth, back to the tonic. Then we want to, here's a chord built on the 7th degree.
Fagan video is really interesting. It's a great insight to his songwriting process and the way he puts his chords together.
So close to blues.
After the first chorus, there's this little breakdown that goes from the F sharp minor, B minor, E minor, B minor, C major 7, and then back to the introduction again, the introductory chords. So, G major 6 9, G flat 7 sharp 9, F major 6 9, E 7 sharp 9, E flat major 6 9, D 7 sharp 9. It's a beautiful descending progression there. You then have that classic guitar solo. It's one of the greatest guitar solos in pop music history. Now let's add the next track and listen to what's happening in the guitar. Now he's not playing exactly the same throughout. It changes. There are little permutations every now and then. And matter of fact, what you're seeing now, the notation slides, is really a snapshot of the music, because Rainey's bass line changes from time to time, as does the palm mute guitar, which is played by Steve Kahn, incidentally. I find it fascinating isolating these different tracks and listening to what each one is doing in their own respective roles, and then layering them up and hearing how the thing is assembled, how it's put together. And you start to realize how intricate each individual part is and how each one facilitates the other. You know, this is a great skill in arranging and composition. And then you couple that with the performances from the greatest session musicians, then your recipe is going to produce something really great. The vocal melody is really catchy and revolves around the G major pentatonic. The chord progression during the verses of Peg are really interesting. If you listen very carefully, you start to notice that it's actually based on a 12-bar blues.
It's more of a major sound. So instead of this flat 7,
Right.
as most blues would have, we wanted a major sound like.
Now, ordinarily, we would associate the 12-bar blues with dominant 7 chords. So we're in the key of G, etc., etc., and then you go to the 5 chord. All dominant 7 chords. However, here in Peg, they're major 7 chords. The G major 7 on the 1, C major 7 4 chord, then it goes to the 5, back down to the 4, and to the 1 again. As you can see, with all the stylistic characteristics, all the elements that are combined to create this wonderful pop song, it exemplifies really that the combination of pop music sensibilities and sophisticated harmony is not necessarily an oxymoron. You can have both, although these days it's becoming more and more difficult to find that. You really have to dig deep to find examples of this. But it's a beautiful song and it's a beautiful album. Every song on the album is just so well crafted, you know, with meticulous attention to detail in every facet. I hope you enjoyed this week's video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.